Hey everybody, it's TR. Got a good topic for you today. Tuning machines. Yes, tuning machines, cheap tuning machines, good tuning machines. What we may believe about tuning machines. I'll watch you guys do reviews on guitars. Shouldn't say you guys, that sounds like I'm pointing out somebody. Watch people do reviews on guitars. And they will say these are cheap tuning machines. They're slipping. Do tuning machines slip? Slipping I would take to mean you tuning, you tightening, and the string's not going up. Is it the inside of the machine slipping? Is it your nut binding? Is it sliding through back here? I don't know. But what I want to talk about is two things that I believe to not be true. That when you bend a string on a cheap tuner, it actually unwinds. The tuner like moves backwards when you bend the string. I pose to you that tuning problems when bending the string, like by it going flat, are because it was binding in the nut. When you bent the string, it didn't all go back to where it was. More of it stayed on your end, leaving you tune slightly flat. The tuner didn't move. That's my hypothesis. I have an experiment coming. The other one is people tie that god-awful luthier's knot. And then there are some like, well, I don't tie the luthier's knot. I just do the one wrap over and then under, and then it pinches between the wraps. But let me pose to you this. If you didn't have the wrap over, wouldn't it just pinch up against the top of the tuning machine? Probably. Which is what it does, by the way. That's why you wind them down as they wind. So, anyways, if you believe this, you also believe, here, there's a hole, right? The hole in the tuner, the string, you believe that its string is pulling back through the hole in the tuner. That's why you tie the knot, so it can't pull back through, right? I'm saying that's bogus too. It doesn't pull back through. And I've set up an experiment by taking a piece of wood, putting two extremely cheap tuners. These are not cheap tuners. These are Gotoh Magnum locks. This set of tuners is better part of $100 US. The tuners that I'm using in my experiment have some play in them. They wiggle, some slop as we like to say, and they are off of a cheap Chinese Kramer guitar. So my experiment is, and I will show it to you shortly, put two tuning machines on a board, take the G string, the famous G string for not staying in tune, set one tuner up so you can see how much is exposed out the end and whether it moves or not. Hook the other end of the string to a tuner and crank it to a tension that will cause the string to break, and see if indeed does the tuner unwind? Does the string pull through the hole on the tuner? I'm going to say it's not gonna, but I don't know yet. We're going to find out. And but that's what I think, and we'll do our little experiment, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've made this apparatus to test my theory. This is the testing post. This is the one I'm going to crank and tighten. So I will need to move the camera to zoom in and concentrate on the test post. So we're going to assume, get in here, we're going to assume that you can see the length of the amount of string sticking out, as well as the back and forth movement here. I could even make a mark. Do I have a pencil down here? You know, I should have, but that doesn't mean I do, right? What if I made a mark? What if we line it right up with that mark? And Basically, you can see the length of it. I could measure it, but you can see the length of it. So we're testing two things here. We're testing will slippage in a cheap tuner, which by the way, this is a cheap tuner, cause it to actually unwind, or is it just the windings on the post tightening up? And that's why you're going out of tune, which if that's the case, it's not the tuner's fault, right? Or the other thing is, by not tying a luthier's knot, will this string actually retract back up into the tuner? Now this is going to be kind of like popping a balloon, because I'm going to tighten this until it breaks. And we're going to see if it moves the other tuner, if it moves that line. Okay, what we should do is we should reset this till we at least get her at pitch, right? Because that's only a fair test, right? Because it is going to move a little when the slack takes up. Is that agreeable with everybody? You know, at least get the slack out of it. Oh boy, this is... Has it moved? Like popping a balloon. I do have safety glasses on, by the way. And this is a G string. The most famous string for causing issues. Has it moved yet? Hasn't moved, has it? I don't know about you. I think that's more tension than I put on my G string. If I got the guts to turn this till it breaks, I don't know if I do. I bet you guys would. There we go. Didn't move at all, did it? I'm going to review the film, but I bet you it didn't move at all. And also, as you can see, it did not retract up into the post in the least. The full length of it is still there. And that's an experiment. So as you can see, I think I proved my point. That tuner is not unwinding, and that string is not pulling back through the hole in the tuning post. So when we have tuning instability, it is windings tightening on the post, which will not happen on this guitar because they are locking tuners. That's why we use locking tuners, by the way. Love it when you see locking tuners and they're wandering around the post anyways. That's for the people that believe the string pulls back through the hole. That's what that one's for. No, they're there so you don't have those wraps to contract and expand like an anaconda. Python. Coils expanding and contracting. You don't have that. And the nut definitely. Topic for another day, but nut material. It does not impart magic fairy dust tone to your guitar. It needs to be hard and it needs to be slippery. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going there. It needs to be hard and it needs to be slippery so that the string doesn't bind on it and doesn't cut into it and wear it. This is why plastic nuts are bad. They're not hard. They may be slippery when they're new, but when that string starts scratching them, they actually become, what do you do to your pick? People had some suggestions to me when I was having trouble hanging onto my pick. Scratch it up, put holes in it, mark it up to get a grip. Well, your plastic nut, the strings will start to chew it up and it will bind. And that's why bone is such a good material. And some of the new synthetics like Graphtec, graphite nuts that are hard, and Corian, hard and slippery. But that's a story for another day too. So anyways, I hope you like this experiment. I never say like and subscribe, but if you want, like and subscribe. You guys have a good one.